Well, I must tell you I'm really apprehensive about this session because it's the last talk of the last session. And I have talked. Yeah, that's for today. For today. Yeah, and I have talked too much, I think. I must confess, so I'm Susmita Datta from University of Louisville, and I must confess that for a large part of my career, I was totally ignorant about all these women activities. Up to 2011, I really did not pay any attention to that. Yeah, because I was so engrossed with my work, trying to raise the baby, trying to do the research, somehow make it. So that's what I was struggling. But after I got through my promotions and things like that, then suddenly I started paying attention to that. And some powerful women, I met some powerful women, and then they showed me that you can do so much. So most of it I am doing now for other women. I now understand the importance of this. So I did not really get any advantage out of it. I'm just doing it for others. I think this is, Ruth talked about it, and I feel very strongly about making yourself a role model, that you can do it in spite of all the adversities in life. So that's what I preach. And for some reason, I think in our profession, that went on for many women, we did not pay much attention. There was a small group of women. I represent Caucus for Women in Statistics. It's a very small organization, although it started at the same time as AWM. But we did not really do much. For a while, women did a lot, but after that, who knows what happened? I'm not really sure. So very many people in our field, or maybe there's one more reason I can think of, that for our statistics profession, most men, women, it's dominated by international folks. So you are coming to this country, not only, there is gender bias, and it's also ethnic biases. So you are just coming to a country which is, you are not a part of, and then trying to make it. That's how I was. So there are plenty of men and women in our profession just like that, just trying to make it. It takes a while to understand a society, and then you try to fit in, and then you can do something for others. So that's what happens, I think, in our profession. So in a way, in our profession, I'm really glad to see this many of you are beginning career. You are attending this conference. It's very encouraging to see. I don't think in our profession we get to see this. We are going to have our first conference for women in statistics this May. So you can see the development of it. Anyway, I was going to tell you, of course, you guys are more exposed to than many of us in our profession. So why do we need to network? Why do we, not only women, even men? Because if you want to do for academic pursuits, you want to join a good academic program, having a strong contact in that particular academic field, of course, helps you a lot, maybe to get a recommendation letter, or just to tell you what are the things that you can really look for in that field, where it is going. When you are in PhD program, what area you should work on, specialization. What's the current market value of that you can sustain in that area for a long haul. So if you have somebody who is going to mentor you with all those, I think definitely work, and it comes from networking. So, it's always a good. For job search, if you are Trying to work in industry, network, network, network all the time. If you don't know anybody, your application goes to a company, most of the time it gets trashed. They just don't know you, that's all. For government jobs, same, to some extent, it's a little better. Networking helps. Even in academia, network helps quite a bit. Not only for you, you got to go to meetings and somehow present your work. People need to know you. Not only you, but your advisor. How well connected your advisor is, that also plays a role. So these are general senses. And then in the community that you belong, networking helps all the time. If it helps you at a later stage, you can become almost the leader of that organization, student union, whatever it is that you are part of, or your own local community. If you network well, you can really influence the community to work in your way to some extent. So it makes it a little better for you in a social environment. Maybe it helps you even to get a match. So network is really good. And for tenure promotion, if you already got a job, you have established yourself, but still, in order to obtain letters, external letters, I'm talking about research universities. If you want to get, you have to get external letters. And if you are not network at all, then it's hard to get external letters. You have to give 6 names of people in your area, and then they will be randomly picked. If you don't know them at all, who knows what kind of letter? They may not write anything bad about you, but they can give a very nominal letter. Yes, he's a nice person, published one paper, this, that, whatever it is. Very formal 2-3 line letter, that doesn't work. They have to spend time to really identify your strength, and networking helps with that. So I cannot emphasize anymore why do you really need to do networking. Now, why do we need women's organization for networking? What we noticed at our joint statistical meeting, that's the largest yearly meeting of statisticians, even in 2012, what happened? We had only 16.7% keynote speakers who were women. And then 0% of the 3 speakers with lunch was a woman. And this incredible statistics, even in 2013, that was the case. There was no plenary speaker, no women's plenary speaker or anybody like that. So we, Caucus for Women in Statistics, we started talking about it, that this is not happening. So Caucus for Women in Statistics, I will talk about it, that it started around the same time. Oh, sorry, that's a typo. Sorry. 1970. And Donna Brogan at Emory University, she was the first one. I don't know why 1070. It must be a problem with the keyboard. And then the first informal discussion started at that point in statistical meetings in 1969 in New York City between 10 women. So 10 of them, they got together and started talking about it, and then it happened in 1970. Next informal meeting happened, the next joint statistical meeting, and then that's how it happened. Finally, in 1971, Caucus for Women in Statistics was officially formed, and it was recognized by American Statistical Association for the first time, 1971, and it was permitted to organize one invited paper session in joint statistical meeting. Unfortunately, it remained the same. So far, we just do one invited session at joint statistical meeting. That's about our activities. We do some other things also, but We sponsor one student award, and that Gertrude Cox scholarship. And then they used to run the child care at the joint statistical meeting. So somehow it has never been really at the limelight. I don't know what happened, but there were no Asian American president, not American, but in general Asian president or anybody in the leadership role at that organization. So it was very different, but we are trying to change the culture. So after I was the first one to become the president of Caucus for Women in Statistics, being an Asian American. And I brought in some more Korean, Chinese into the group. So hopefully it will have some effect. And then when we noticed that at the joint statistical meeting, no plenary talk was given in 2013. Zero plenary keynote talk was given by women. We collected signatures, and then we submitted to American Statistical Association. So the effect, direct or indirect, who knows, this year, 2014, there will be 2 keynote speakers. Women speakers. So we are making progress. And what else we are doing? We are, so I will just not bother you with all this. Now, this caucus, we have another organization, Committee of Women in Statistics. It's just one section of American Statistical Association. We work with them. Again, they haven't done much either. We do get together in joint statistical meeting and just talk about things that we should be doing, but nothing gets done. Nothing much gets done. So what is happening, 2011 Caucus for Women in Statistics, they started around the time I joined, or maybe a little before that, they started talking about making a conference for women in statistics. It's high time. I mean, it has been going on in mathematics for a long time, and we don't have anything like that. So we started talking about it. I must say I wasn't involved with that, but some other people was. But then I came in 2011 as a rep at large, representative at large for Caucus. And then I saw even then there were women, they were clashing amongst each other because it's a small group. So smaller the group, it's easier to get conflicted amongst each other, which doesn't help at all. So I was there trying to just calm people down and then trying to see how we can make it for the first time. And it was easier for me because I was so very different looking from anybody else over there. So it kind of helped. So it's happening. But now you can see that we have revamped, during my presidency, I have revamped our web page, which is way more informative than before. There was a story also behind it. So it was a lot of work. So we will be celebrating the Committee of Women in Statistics and Caucus for Women in Statistics. We got together and we are going to make the first conference of women in statistics, which will involve women representatives from academia, government, and industry. And we made sure that we have some male representatives as well. Some male members will give presentations and they will attend, and this is the web page for that conference, Women in Stats. If any of you are interested, it's going to happen from May 15th to 17th in North Carolina, and it will have leadership activities. If you look at the program, there's very interesting topics. I was exposed to just scientific conferences with solid research talks. That's how I was. But this is the first time I'm seeing that all these imposter syndromes, I'm learning these new terminologies, and I think it is very important. I'm learning every day that these things are needed to be done, and how to do negotiations, gender-neutral communications, and all these things. The moment I learned these things, I think, yes, how come I didn't know about it? And I'm learning at the same time. I'm sure students and faculty members in our field will really come and join us to celebrate women in statistics. I'll stop here.